Excellence in our industry comes from quality teams creating quality products. In an industry that's constantly evolving, it's your unwavering grit, determination, and passion that drives innovation and elevates standards to new heights. As brewers ourselves, we know what that passion looks like. It's the drive to create something exceptional, fueled by dedication and love for the craft. As a stainless steel equipment manufacturer for over 10 years, ABS Commercial provides a full consultative approach to our customers, from consultation and design to installation and ongoing care and maintenance. Whether you're in planning, just getting started, or looking to expand, we're here to support your growth and your success. Thank you for choosing ABS Commercial as your trusted partner.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. My name is Julie. Thanks for choosing to spend the next 45 to 50 minutes with me on this lovely Tuesday. For those that know me, I'm hardly ever in my home office anymore. So this time I'm in New Mexico and you get the cabin background. It's real, I promise. It's a little chilly outside though. Normally I sit outside so everybody can see the pretty views that we have here, but it's cold. So I'm inside today. So you get cabin chic behind me. Um, First of all, I am going to let's see. Aaron, I am actually oh, hang on. I am connecting to the chat really quick so that I can put a Google Drive link in here, everybody, for my slide deck. Um, if for some reason, oh, Aaron, you might have to help me out because it's not letting me join the chat for some reason. I like making sure everybody has access to my slide deck so that you have a copy of everything. Worst case scenario, if we don't get it up to you guys, please let me know. Oh, thank you, sir. That's awesome. Also, if you want to put in there, Aaron, if you don't mind, my email address is julie@notyourhobbymarketing.com. So if for some reason you missed the link and we get to the end of the presentation and you want the slide deck, just email me and let me know. I'll shoot you a PDF. Super easy peasy. So, okay. So welcome everybody. We're going to do a little social media advertising education today. I hope that you are here for it. That would be amazing. I know this stuff can get very complicated very quickly. I think sometimes I take my knowledge of this stuff for granted because I do it so much every day and I've done it for a really long time. And I'll just be honest with everybody, I get lost in the metaverse quite often. So if you are getting into, and it's not just Meta as well, it's also, Google if you're doing YouTube ads, it's Pinterest if you're doing Pinterest ads, if you're doing, streaming or programmative ads. Also, these ad platforms are kind of hard to navigate, and I totally get it. I just want all of you to know that you're not alone. I am technically a professional marketer. I also teach marketing. I am a fractional CMO. I do this stuff all the time, and I still get lost in the details. So if you're struggling with it, if you're on the struggle bus, please know that you're not the only one. These things are not really intuitive. Hopefully, we're going to clear up some of that stuff today to help you out a little bit. So let's get right into it. We are talking about From Hops to Clicks, a guide for social media advertising. And hopefully, by the time you walk out of here today, I also hope you like my little hop superhero guy. Thank you, AI, for helping me with that. I think he's adorable. All right. I want you to walk away with some of these things before we finish up today. I really want you to understand the true value of social media advertising and what it can actually do for your business as far as building brand awareness, promoting products, getting more people into your tap room if you have a brick and mortar location. If you're spread out, across multiple places and you don't have a physical location, you can also use social media advertising. You can use it for events. There's like a million things that you can do. Next part of this is kind of decoding how to actually get these things set up or how to get started. So I want to start you at the beginning. We're going to talk about how to set objectives, what that actually means, and we're going to talk about a budget as well. Then next, we're going to talk about how to target the right audience. I would say, if anything, if you just like go to sleep through this whole thing, you're like, Julie, this is really boring, blah, blah, blah. Please wake up for the audience targeting section. Honestly, if that's your biggest takeaway for today, please get really good at audience targeting. And we're going to talk about what that actually means. But put it this way, you can have the best ads in the world and you can spend gobs of money. But if you're not showing it to the right people at the right time with the right message, it's not going to do well. So, here's the thing, small versus large marketing budgets doesn't matter. If your ads stink and they aren't going to the right people, then there is, it's not going to be successful. So the other thing is, we're going to talk about how to craft ads that get results. So we're going to talk about improving your copywriting skills. We'll talk about using the right kind of media. Yes, is a right kind of media, not that you have to do things a specific way, but we'll talk about what works best for craft beverage companies. And then finally, I'm going to give you some KPIs. Again, for those that know me, I can't do these things without talking about data. So we're going to talk about how you can track these things and figure out whether they're working, whether they're not working. And I'm not going to overload you with marketing analytics or ad metrics. I'm going to give you just a couple. I think I'm going to give you 4 today. So that's easy to handle, right? Baby steps. All right. So, and I have to switch windows back and forth. So y'all just bear with me here. Okay. Hi, I'm Julie. If I didn't say that before, I usually just jump right into these things. My name's Julie Rhodes. I'm located normally in Broomfield, Colorado, right outside of Denver. Actually, I'm right in between Denver and Boulder. Today, I'm in New Mexico, right outside of Taos, if anybody knows where that is. My office is where the Wi-Fi is, and that's kind of how I do things. But I've got a couple decades of experience in the food and beverage industry. Y'all can read this slide. There's a little bit about me. I've always been on the business side of things, so mainly in supplier side sales, digital marketing, distribution management, and business strategy or infrastructure. I do a lot of chain sales. We're in ABP season right now. I do ABPs with all of my clients. We do demand planning. We do smart expansion. We talk about projections. I do a lot of data analysis, all that good stuff. And I help people with their digital marketing stuff as well. I'm the owner of Not Your Hobby Marketing Solutions. I provide what's called fractional consulting for people. So I'm not just the evil consultant that stands over you shaking a finger or pointing fingers. I actually get into the trenches with you of your business and I help you learn how to do things by doing it for you at first and then teaching you how to do it along the way so that you can eventually get rid of me. I know that sounds crazy, but it works really well. I do a lot of stuff in the industry. I work with Andrew quite a bit. It's pretty awesome. I was just at the Virginia Brewers Conference doing a keynote talk there. I speak at a lot of state guilds and other industry events. I was the 2023 Brewers Association Mentor of the Year. I am still part of the mentorship program. I love it, love it, love it. I'm also a independent journalist and I teach for a lot of universities with their continuing education business programs, which is really fun because teaching is my jam. Like I said, I live in Colorado. I'm married to an industry guy. It's pretty awesome. We have 2 boys, a teenager and a preteen, which is hard. And we have a lot of pets. We do all the typical mountain stuff, fishing, hiking, camping. We're on the road. We like to cook. I like to tell people random things about me. I love donuts. I love them. I'm like a donut connoisseur and also coffee. I also love socks and I have tons of glasses. That's like my thing. And I used to play semi-professional billiards. So, if you see me out and about, I'm not afraid to get into a pool match with you. All right. Moving on, enough about me. Let's get into your social media ads. Why should you give a crap? Julie, why should I care about social media advertising? First of all, it is probably one of the best bangs for your marketing buck when it comes to advertising channels at this point. Now, I'm making sort of a general statement. There are a lot of instances where traditional marketing will kind of outweigh digital marketing in some way, shape, or form. I'm not going to go over those today, but the majority of the time, most brands get a lot of ROI out of digital marketing channels. And nested in that is digital advertising. And then nesting within that is more specifically social media advertising. Now, there are a lot of social media channels that we could talk about advertising for. There are streaming networks, there are things like Discord servers, there is Spotify, there's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Pinterest, Blue Sky. There's all kinds of different places. For today, for brevity's sake, I'm going to mainly be talking about Facebook and Instagram. If I break into like meta this, meta that, know that I'm doing that for brevity and for simplicity today. So when I say social media advertising, know that I'm kind of taking it from the approach of the majority of you out there use Facebook and Instagram. So that's the direction that I wanted to kind of keep in, just to make it easily accessible for everybody who's watching this. So what you can see on the screen, I know that's a tiny graph, but what this is telling you is that organic reach on social media is kind of going down the toilet. I hate to be negative Nancy, but what we are seeing is with the amount of people that use social media, the number of people that are on these platforms, the way that consumers like to interact and engage with brands on social media channels. It used to be that you could just get really good at pumping out organic branded content, and that was enough. I'm going to be the bearer of bad news today and tell you that that's not enough anymore. What you can't see, I know it's kind of small, but this is 5%, this is 4%, this is 3, this is 2, this is 1, and this is 0. And what this chart is telling us from January 23 all the way to August of 24, the Instagram reach line is going down, down, down. That's organic. And the Facebook reach, now this is kind of a blip right here, but then we're going down again, right? Usually you see these kind of spikes when there's an algorithm change. This is from Social Insider. This is a source that I use quite a bit for data. What that is telling us is that paid social media account is, or content, excuse me, is now favored by the algorithm more than just the random posts that you're putting up there. You can kind of guess and assume at this point, and again, I'm generalizing this data, about 1% of your Facebook followers are actually going to see like your daily posts or the posts that you put out like on a regular basis, however often that is. By the way, you don't need to post daily anymore. I'll just throw that in there. Also, Instagram, because we have extra functions of Instagram that are kind of like having extra channels all in one. Because if you think about it, you have the feed, and then you have DMs, and then you also have stories, and then you also have reels. So that gets a little bit of an extra boost. Usually anywhere between 2 and 3% of your Instagram followers, like your total follower count, will actually see your organic posts. And sometimes it's less than that, but that's a little frightening, right? So if you think about it this way, if you're busting your ass to get organic content out there and you're like, but I posted about my special release on Instagram, only about 2% of your followers are actually going to see that if it's just a regular post. Now, if you put a little bit of money behind it, right? And I know that all of you are on the up and up and you have a business account, hopefully, and you're seeing things like boost this post. You could reach more people if you do this, that, and the other. That's not untrue. And I'm not saying that that's untrue, but what I'm telling you today is that you would be better off setting up a what we call a native ad campaign rather than just boosting posts all the time. And we're going to go through why that's actually more beneficial for you today. I'm going to throw some hard numbers at you. But know that organic content is not optimal at this point, and that paid content is almost non-negotiable. Almost, not quite. Anyways, I don't want you to freak out though. You do not have to have a huge ad budget to get started with social media ads. You don't. I'm going to tell you how we do that. All right. But paid ads allow you not only to reach more people directly, right? But it allows you to reach the people that would be interested in buying your brand, which is pretty awesome. And honestly, a lot of us, we need to find new customers these days. I'm not going to go into the, kind of place we are with the industry overall, but it could help to have new customers. That's not a bad thing. It allows you to control your messages. Whereas, like, if you think about it, like if you got a billboard that goes up there, it has one design, you can't really change it, you can't do anything. Whereas with like a social media ad, it's sort of like a digital billboard that you can tweak and you can make changes to all the time. It's very dynamic, it's very cool, and it's all within your control. The other thing is that with native ad campaigns, you're going to see real advertising results. So we can actually track metrics that will tell you whether or not they are successful. Okay, so let's talk about the debate, right? Native ads versus boosted posts. And there is a difference. Native ads are a dedicated ad campaign that you are running through the ads manager platform. Now, talking about Facebook and Instagram, this is the Meta Ads Manager. That is what it's called. If you don't know where it is in your Meta Business Suite mess of a dashboard, log in, go to your Meta Business Suite, get into the search bar, and just type in Ads Manager. It will take you right to it. It looks like columns and it looks like three little folders, like all sort of nested together. You know you're in the right place if you see that. All right, that's where you're running your ads from. Now, if you're boosting posts, it's just going to give you usually like a little button and then you get a little pop up and you go through all the little things, right? So, why are native ad campaigns better than just boosted posts? Well, obviously, I have a lot of reasons here. Boosted posts are temporary, first of all, whereas native ads, you can pick a start date, you can pick an end date, you can pick a never ending ad, which is ones that I love to do. Um, Boosted posts have limited targeted focus, right? So you can't really customize where it's going. Like you kind of can, but not as much with a native ad campaign. A native ad campaign allows you to really get into the details and really we're going to talk about ad targeting coming up, so I won't go into that too much, but there are like endless options for audience targeting and native ads. It's pretty awesome. Boosted ads, you get simple reporting, not bad. It's like an overall. Native ad campaigns, you get really, really detailed analytics about who's seeing your ad, who's interacting with your ad, how much it's costing you to show it to people, what they're doing with it, are they clicking on the call to action? So many more things that you get. You have minimal control with boosted posts. You have advanced performing tracking with native ads. And then finally, boosted posts, you get very little to none audience segmentation, whereas native ads, you get very specific objectives, right? Boosted posts are really like nice, like quick way to boost visibility. So I'm not saying never to use those. If like, I don't know, say you have an event at your tap room and you're like, we're selling tickets and ticket sales are lagging. What can we do? Okay, let's boost that post really quick. You might not have time to set up a native ad campaign or go through the paces of, going through the ads manager and setting up your pixel and, all that kind of stuff, right? So you can boost an ad in a pinch. That's totally fine. I also want you to think about different scenarios in which you could use a native ad instead of a boost and it would be more effective. First example that I have for you is a product launch. So, the thing about product launch and native ad campaigns, they really are a lovely, lovely commitment, marriage, relationship, whatever you want to call it. Not only does it allow you to promote a specific product and not just like your brand overall, but say you're releasing it only in your tap room, you can actually do like geographic or what we call geo-targeted ad campaigns, right? So if it's only available at your tap room, maybe you do like a little 5 or 10 mile radius for that ad for your tap room, and you talk about how to pick it up locally, right? And that's a great way to get very specific. The other thing is event promotion. So again, if you're having a big like holiday event or you have an anniversary party or something else going on, something that people would show up to locally, you can do the same thing, right? You can also do what's called retargeting. So it's people that were already kind of associated with your brand anyways, like somebody that's already following you on Instagram, you could retarget them with a special event ad that would let them know, like, hey, you're already interested in this. You should come out to this. It's going to be awesome. And finally, another way that you can utilize native ad campaigns, and a lot of people don't really think about it this way, is in your off season. So most people don't really think about, bumping up marketing or amping up promotions, in the off season. Everybody kind of like retracts, kind of like right now. It's quarter 4, not really our peak season for beer, right? We kind of shine in like quarter 2, quarter 3, like patio season, right? But that doesn't mean that you have to let your guard down when it comes to building brand awareness and promoting your products, your tap room, whatever, right? So think about your down seasons. Like for me here, when it gets cold AF, maybe not everybody's on your patio, but you can still let digital ads work for you by promoting your brand in the off season. All right, moving on. Here we go. This is like first thing you do, setting objectives. If you go to that terrible little ads manager, by the way, I hate the interface of that. You're not the only one that's frustrated with that thing. If you click that little green button that says create ad, it is going to give you a pop-up window. And the first thing you're going to see is select your ad objective. What does that mean? It's the purpose of the ad that you're running. Basically, it has to do with what you want to accomplish. So this is it. This is the list. It's not that hard, right? And some of these are applicable to us as breweries. Some of them are not. The easiest one is awareness. I'm going to grow brand awareness. That basically just means I want to get more eyeballs on my brand. I don't necessarily want somebody to have to like do something like go to the website or buy something or whatever. I just want to get the word out, basically, just an awareness. So what we look at for this is I'm trying to boost impressions. I'm trying to increase my reach, and I just want people to get the good word about my brand. The next one that I love, honestly, is my favorite type of ad to run is a traffic campaign. And what that is that it's clicking, like it's an action. It's trying to get people to click to something, whether it's your website, an event landing page, your online store, whatever it might be. But it's all about that's the way you basically get charged. So in the awareness campaign, where you get charged per person that basically looks at your stuff when Meta thinks that there's an impression or it shows it to somebody, that's how you get charged. Traffic is where you don't get charged necessarily. You got to set it the right way. But you get charged for link clicks. So it's people that we're driving them to a specific place and we're asking them to take an action. The other thing is leads. This is really interesting. So if you're doing email marketing, you should be doing email marketing, by the way. That's an owned asset that is really, really awesome to have. So if social media goes down, you have a backup. But you can actually do a lead form ad on social media to try to get people to sign up, for a membership club, a loyalty club, email list, whatever it is where you're collecting information. You could also do this for people that want quotes for private events, maybe catering information, things like that. Anyways, just know that leads and forms, they cost more than the other stuff. So just be aware of that. The other thing that you can run an ad for is engagement. So this is just if you want people to interact with your brand on the social media channels more. So it's things like shares, comments, DMs, saves. Like if you want people to message you, by the way, that contributes to your engagement score on social media. That's a really good thing. Another thing is app promotion. Not everybody has this. I'm not going to go into this too much. If you have an app, you can actually do an ad for that to promote it. And then finally, sales. Sales, that sounds awesome, right? On the surface, but remember, we are selling alcohol. Can you sell alcohol on social media? No, absolutely not. This is all about conversions. So if you are dancing around in the space of e-commerce, like for those out here in, digital land, if you are able to do wine, like you're hooked up with Vino Shipper or something, if you're selling cider, if you're selling hemp beverages or THC stuff online, any of that kind of stuff, NA beverages, merchandise, ticket sales, anything that is legal to sell online, where you actually have people that are purchasing things, that would be a good ad for you with conversions. But just for taproom and like distribution sales, not so much. All right, so let's talk about how you can actually set up your budget, because I don't want you to freak out. You don't need to blow things up with your budget. Take it slow. Small budgets can have a really big impact, even if you're only spending like $2 a day. And I always tell people, if this makes you nervous, start small. You don't have to like totally blow it up. Can you spare $60 a month? That's a 30-day month on average with like $2 a day. That's better than not doing anything. Just get started, like progress over perfection at this point. And know that your budget is flexible. That's the cool thing about native ad campaigns. And honestly, you can do this a little bit with Boost too, because you can set like a lifetime, boosted campaign limit. Like, hey, I only want to spend $50. I only want to spend $100. What I like to do is set a daily budget. So whatever ad campaign I'm running, I will start somebody very, very baby steps at like $2 a day. Some of the people that are a little bit more advanced were like $10 a day. And if you're way bigger, just know that bigger breweries and beverage brands, this can go up to like thousands of dollars a day. I tend to not tell people that because I don't want to freak you out. But know that if you're like a small to medium sized brand, anything between like $2 and $10, $5 and $20 a day, that's going to make a big impact. So don't panic. You don't have to have six figures for social media ads. I want you to figure out your budget, right? What you can actually spare like for the month or for the year. 70% of that needs to go to building brand awareness. So this is things like those awareness ads, engagement ads, traffic, stuff like that. 30% of that budget needs to go to nurturing existing customers, right? So these are those things that I talked about earlier with like people that are already engaged with you. Maybe they're already on your email list. They already follow you on Instagram. They clicked on something else that you have. They have already interacted with you in some way, therefore giving you permission to market to them further. And that's what that 30% should go to. We also refer to this as like a warm audience. Whenever you create an ad or make changes, I want you to always give it at least 10 days before you check the progress. Know that the algorithm needs a little bit of time to learn what kind of people would like to see your ad or are interested in your ad and what you should actually get charged for. It used to be 14 days. Now it's down to 10 and it's getting better and better. So just give it at least 7 to 10 days. And finally, please advertise what you sell. Please, for the love of Pete. When I say advertise what you sell, think about your revenue streams, taproom sales, food program, private events, distribution stream. If you have a special event going on, if you have a seasonal release, any of that kind of stuff, technically you should have like multiple ads running at the same time for multiple different parts of your business. So please keep that in mind. And finally, you get my big giant warning sign. This is like red alert, alarms, everything. When you are in the thick of creating your ads on that little platform, all right, you are going to see something that says Advantage Plus settings. Optimize your things. I don't want to say that Advantage Plus settings are bad or not to use them. I'm telling you right now that you need to read the fine print associated with them, because sometimes what that fine print will say is that that platform, Meta, can actually change your daily budget without your permission. So I want everybody to be fully and completely aware of this. Sometimes, like audience plus settings, that's awesome, right? Budget optimization, like Advantage plus budget, sometimes that's not a bad thing to use. But just be very careful with things like Advantage plus placements and such. Just read the fine print, because I really don't want anybody losing control of their budgets. Another way that we can keep control in your budgets is called A/B testing. So think of this as like, it's like R&D for your marketing, right? That's basically what this is. Like, say you're experimenting with a new beer recipe and you have some regulars in your tap room and you're like, hey, this one has peaches in it and this beer has apricots in it. Which one do you like better? And I'm not going to tell you which one is which. It's kind of the same thing, but with your digital ads, right? So it's a way to market sort of the same thing and promote the same thing, but you change like one element with all other elements being the same. It could be changing a picture, but you have the same caption. It could be changing the caption, but keeping the same picture. It could be having one call to action, like limited time offer, versus another call to action, which would be get it before it's gone. So it's a way that you can run sort of simultaneous ad campaigns at the same time. You have ad A and then you have ad B, and you can kind of pit them against each other to see how they actually do. And you can run it for a certain period of time. And then the one that gets the most engagement and has the best performance is the winner. Then you can kick the other one to the curb and start using the one that works. It's pretty awesome. But I want to warn everybody, when you do that, your daily budget will get doubled. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. So please know, if you're going to run an A/B test, it's going to apply your daily budget to that specific campaign. So let's say you set your daily budget for a brand awareness campaign for your tap room, and you set it at $5 a day. And then you tell the platform, I want to do an A/B test. It's going to do $10 a day because you have $5 running for an A campaign and a B campaign. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. But the premise of A/B testing is that you're basically creating 2 or more variants of your ad to see which one works better. You test one thing at a time. You can run multiple A/B tests. You can do these every which way and sideways. But what it does is that you learn to scale only what works, and you keep what's working. And again, please only test one thing at a time. Otherwise, you're not going to know actually what's winning. Okay, so let's talk about audience targeting. I warned you that this is super duper duper important, and I can't say enough good things about this. Again, even the best ads will absolutely suck without effective audience targeting, because you won't be showing it to the right people. I like to say this goes beyond the spray and pray method. So again, I like to use a comparative example of, say, like a roadside billboard. That's kind of spray and pray. It's like whoever's driving by, maybe nobody wants to see that. Maybe some people would definitely want to see that. But the difference between something like that with traditional advertising on a billboard versus digital advertising with native ads is that you can actually show it to the people that actually want to see it, that have the highest probability that they will make a purchase with you. Without targeting, you're absolutely wasting money. So I don't have time to go through like a whole bunch of details about these, but I want to give you an overview. These are just 5 of the ways, like major categories of ways that you could do audience targeting. So first is called a custom audience. This is cool because it's actually an audience segment that is built from your own data. Don't get freaked out. This gets a little creepy for people who aren't used to hearing about marketing tools. What it basically does is take people that have already interacted with you in some way. So, like, you can target your Instagram followers, you can target your Facebook followers, you can target people that have visited your website, you can target your email list if you have one, right? You can actually upload your subscriber list into social account platform ads manager, and it will find those people on social media. Why can you do that? Because your subscribers, you own that list. They have given you permission to use their information. So please don't freak out about that. It's totally legal. That's why you click the little checkbox that says, like, I opt into this, right? You're protected. That's why you need a double opt-in, by the way, for email marketing. The other thing that you can do is what's called a lookalike audience. So what that basically does is create an audience set for you of some kind, usually a custom audience or a saved audience that you have. And it makes a carbon copy of not those exact people, but people that look like those people. So it's people that could be interested in your brand, but they haven't found you yet, but they look like, the people over, I'm like backwards, I'm mirrored on my screen. They look like the people over here that are interested in your brand, but they haven't found you yet. So it's nice. It's sort of like, doubling or tripling or quadrupling that net that you're throwing out there for building brand awareness and reach. It's a pretty cool thing. The other thing that you can do for audience targeting is base it off of interests. And, outside of honestly age and geography, I don't really push too much like demographic targeting. What I like to do is called psychographic targeting. So it will grab anybody who likes cooking, who likes hiking, who likes online shopping, who likes beer festivals. So any of those things, the way that they're interacting with those like hobbies and interests and values and organizations on social media, if you can target them for those interests, that's a really good way to reach them, just in case they don't know about your brand yet and you guys have aligned values and aligned interests. The other thing is behavior based targeting. So this is really interesting because it targets audiences based off of their engagement. So things that they buy, places that they've been, websites that they've gone to, groups that they follow, fan groups, pages, business pages, people that they've interacted with, people that are likely to RSVP to a Facebook event. You can grab those people. That's a really good example, right? And then finally, location. So this is also known as geo targeting. And the cool thing about this is it's kind of like, the power of like Google My Business, where you have, local advertising, like the little Google bot is like grabbing people that are within like a certain radius of your location. This is the equivalent of that. It's just on social media channels instead of a search engine. So what you can do, like I said earlier, if you have a special release that's coming out with your tap room, or you're trying to get more butts and seats into your brick and mortar location, like try doing it based on the city that you're located in and do a radius so you can expand it out. If you know that you have people coming in from out of town, you could push it to those areas as well. So there's lots of different options here. You can probably tell why this is so incredibly important for you to learn. Now, it's great if you're targeting the right people and you have the right objective set up. So what the heck do I put in my ad, Julie? You got to craft good content, right? You have to think about copywriting for the caption. You have to think about a CTA, like a call to action. What do you want people to do with that ad, or how do you want them to engage or interact with your brand? You also have to think about the media. We're going to talk about media in a second. But I want to start with copywriting because this is really important. Believe it or not, when you're posting on social, when you're writing emails, putting copy on your website, you are actually becoming a sales conversion copywriter. That's a very fancy way of saying I write stuff so people will buy things. We are in the business of selling things. So if we want to get more butts and seats, if we want to sell more of a certain beer, if we want to sell things online, you are going to have to practice sales conversion copywriting, which can make or break you. It needs to be short. It needs to be to the point. It needs to be action oriented. We don't need storytelling in our social media ads. Those we reserve for our website, our emails, our blog posts, our videos, all those things, right? Ads need to be short, sweet, to the point, and you need to tell me what to do with it. So make sure that you follow this method: hook, body, call to action. It's not that hard to remember. Hook, body, call to action, right? This is your first chance to connect with your audience. So I want to make sure that everybody puts their best foot forward. Think about creating urgency. That feeling of FOMO is always good for ads. Infuse your brand personality with like your tone of voice and the way that you're talking to people. And finally, make sure that you're telling people where to actually go to buy it. That is so incredibly important. All right, so how do we select the right media for the ads? This is really important. The example that I like to give is that if you show me a picture of your tap room and it is empty, all I see is stools, chairs, tables, tanks, bar top, nobody's in there, I'm going to think that you're selling furniture because that is what's in the picture, right? If you show me a picture of your tap room with happy people drinking and eating and smiling and petting dogs and, sharing pints with friends and telling stories and having a positive experience, I'm going to think that you're selling me happiness or joy or whatever descriptor you want to use with that, because you are showing me what you are actually selling. Yes, we're selling beer. Yes, we're selling other beverages, but we're selling an experience. You're selling a feeling, right? So make sure that you're showing what you sell, what you're actually selling. You're not selling tanks unless you're an allied trade partner on this call. And in this case, if you are selling tanks, then you better be showing me the tanks. But in the other case is that you're selling an experience and you're selling products. So you want to show me that. Now, if we're talking about a beer release and maybe you don't have a photo of happy people enjoying that beer release, can you show me something else that would entice me to want to buy it? Can you show me ingredients? Can you show me the process of making it, like behind the scenes? Can you show me Your beer in like like an outdoorsy scene or a landscape or something like that, right? You want to make it enticing and you want to bring people in and draw them in with the media. Social media is visual. It's visual, right? Here's the other thing too. If you can show people or animals, there's a reason why that resonates so clearly because they have eyeballs. Don't laugh at me when I say that. Our human brains like to see personal connection with things. And a lot of the times we do that with our eyes. You hear about like sales and communication and how important it is to make eye contact. That's why human and animal posts resonate so well because our brains like it and we get warm little fuzzies, right? So, what should we be showing? Okay, and then what type of media should we be using? You can use photos, obviously. Text ads, not really effective anymore. Videos are best, honestly. And for advertisements, short form videos are best. If you can't do that, second best is like a photo carousel. So now you're not just giving me a photo to look at, you're giving me something that I can swipe through and see like multiple things and I can interact with your ads. Um, I would love for everybody to have at least a carousel post instead of just one video or instead of just one still photo, but I know that's not always ideal. And here's the other thing too about your content and your media that you're using. You do not have to be a professional photographer. Um, if you want to get fancy, buy a light box like off of Amazon and you can take some great photos. Your cell phone camera is fine. Just make sure that it's not shaky, that you have decent lighting, make sure it's blurry, um, things like that. And make sure the thing that you're selling is the focus. Think about interesting angles. Can you go from up top? Can you go from the bottom? Is there, sunshine behind it? I just want you to get used to taking different shots of things and thinking about them in different ways. And you don't have to have a professional photographer all the time. Last thing about media that I'm going to say is try not to use too much text overlay on your ads. People don't really like to see that. Try not to put logos all over everything. Modern day customers don't really prefer that in their ads. And videos tend to perform better overall. So that's your spiel on media here. All right, moving right along, let's talk about effective calls to action. I already kind of went into this a little bit. I jumped ahead of myself. Surprise, surprise. But you have to tell your audience what to do with your ad. If you don't, they're just going to keep scrolling and you're not going to get any results at all. So make sure it is easy to spot what you want them to do with the ad and it has to be action oriented. I wanted to throw out some examples like if it's private events, reserve now, get a quote. If you want somebody to go to a landing page, an event site, buy tickets, whatever, visit the website. If you're actually selling things, so if you're engaged in e-commerce, like the legal stuff, if you want people to, this is cool too, because if you're selling merch online, you can actually shop from social media posts, which is very cool. That's totally legal to do. So you can put like buy now, buy here, get it before it's gone, all that good stuff. And then finally, just the view menu. What's your tap list? What's your food list? All that good stuff. All right. Moving along. Tracking success with KPIs. All right. This is the meat of this. This is what people hit me up about all the time. I want to make this simple for you. I track way more metrics than this. Please know that. I am on an advanced level because I've been doing this for a really long time. But if you're just getting started, I want you to start with these 4 things. KPIs stand for key performance indicators. They are things that we measure, metrics that we measure to figure out whether or not our ads are working or not. They help us figure out what's driving results and what needs to be tweaked to improve improvement. Blah, blah, blah. All right. They give us insights, but they also guide our decisions so we can figure out where we want to double down on something, kick a version B ad to the curb. We want to spend less. We want to drop the ad completely. You can get all of this in your ads manager dashboard, by the way. I have different software. There's different software out there that will track this for you, but know that it's always in your ads manager platform. These are the 4 things that I look at all the time. Number 1 important, CPC. That stands for cost per click. Now, Everyone will have different rates, but I'm going to tell you right now, you need to track the cost per click on a monthly basis. I mean, you can check it every week. I would advise checking it every week, but I like looking at this on a monthly basis. Industry benchmark is $1 or less. If you're spending $1 per or less for each click, you're doing something right. If it's over $1, I would think about tweaking something. Next one is CTR, which is your click through rate. And I'm not talking about all the clicks. I'm talking about your website clicks, like those traffic ads, like click here to go to the website, blah, blah, blah. That's the stuff. So it's also called outbound clicks. Those are the things that we want to look at. Your CTR should be higher than 1%. Would I love it to be like 3 to 5%? Yes, in a perfect world. Ideally, that's what you're shooting for. But if it's over 1%, you're doing pretty good. If it's under 1%, you need to go back and tweak something. I'm going to go to frequency first because ROAS gets a little complicated. So frequency is the number of times that somebody has actually seen your ad. The reason we want to track this is because you don't want ad burnout for your brand because people will hide it, they'll delete it, they'll mark it as spam. You don't want that to happen. That happens when they've seen the same ad too many times. It annoys them. So I always tell people, keep your frequency like below 3. Try. If you're at like 1.5, that's pretty awesome. So if you're at like 6, you got to do something. First of all, pause the ad, go back to the drawing board, figure out what's going on. Your audience targeting is probably wrong. Finally, I want to talk about what we call ROAS. That's a fancy acronym. It stands for return on ad spend. So a lot of people mix this up with ROI, which is return on investment. In the world of digital advertising, we talk about return on ad spend. Here's the kicker with this. You cannot figure out return on ad spend or ROI without having physical conversions. And you can probably see the problem here. I get asked for this kind of stuff all the time, and people say, Julie, I want to prove the worth of our ad spend. Well, you can't do that unless you're actually selling things. So those folks in e-commerce, you can do this. You have a customer acquisition cost. You have ROI that you can prove because you have, physical like transactions, right? But for the rest of us that are just looking at improving taproom sales, increasing distribution sales, you can't chase people around and ask them where they found you, but we can do something in a different way to track different kinds of conversions. Now, these are called, and attention please alert right here, these are called proxy conversions, or they're also called micro conversions. These are smaller engagement performance metrics that will up the probability of leading to a purchase. And that is the best that you're going to get. So all of you owners out there that hit me up and say, prove the true ROI of digital advertising. Well, you're not going to see it with conversions because there's no way to track that someone came into your tap room after seeing your digital ad on Instagram stories, right? But what we can track that's real and concrete, right, are things like engagement metrics, like cost per click, engagement rates, cost per thousands of people that have seen it, reach, impressions, things like this, clicks to your website, right? And this also depends on the objective of your ad. So know that if you're chasing that, I hate to say it, you're not going to find it, but you can get close. All right. Next steps, everybody. We are in the final moments of this. And I want to give everybody next steps because I'm going to challenge you to do a little bit of homework. I want you first to think about your digital ad budget. Figure out what you can spare each month, even if it's like $20. I don't even care if it's that low, right? Figure out your budget. Next, I want you to think about what you want your ads to do. What are those objectives? What am I trying to accomplish? Like, I'm at point A, what does point B look like? Finally, I want you to think about how to identify your target audience. Are you going to go interests? Are you going to go geography, location, behavior, what that looks like? And I want you to like wireframe all of this on like a piece of paper. You don't have to get fancy with this stuff, right? I want you to wireframe it out before you even get into the ads manager. Finally, I want you to think about what kind of content you would use. Do you have photos? Do you have videos? Are you showing what you're selling? And then finally, think about a way that you can get comfortable with that ads manager platform to make sure that you're tracking the KPIs that are most important to your social media ad campaigns. And we're going to wrap things up today. And I'm just going to say thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I always have like YouTube and Facebook like running on this so I can see the folks that are here. I really appreciate you being with me. While I go through the rest of this, I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to look at the comments. If anybody has any questions, please, please, please put them in the chat and I will answer them right now. Like just get them out there. I always get questions about social media ads. I will be shocked if there are not any questions on here. This is me. That's my company. That's the best way to find me. If you have questions, hindsight, right? And you want to email me, again, my email address is in the chat box, but it's also here on the beautiful screen. And that is Julie at notyourhobbymarketing.com. You can also find me on all the social things, of course. I'm talking about social advertising. I am on all the social channels. Most of the time you can find me. Thanks, Scott. Good to see you, bud. On most of the social media channels at Not Your Hobby Marketing. There's a few where it's close. And honestly, I can tell you right now, if you just go to Google and put in Julie Marketing, you're probably going to find me. Can't ever change the name of my business at this point. So that's the way it is. But I advise everybody, give this a shot. Don't be scared of it. Just go to your ads manager, play with it, play around with it for a little bit, kind of explore it. You're not going to break anything. You're not going to spend money until you enter your billing info. So know that you can create like a bazillion like draft ads before you even press go. And then on top of that, you do have to get approved. So know that that takes a little bit of time too. So you're better off getting in there and making a little bit of progress, and then publishing later if you feel like it. But Erin, I think that about wraps it up for today. All of you enjoy the rest of your fall virtual conference. I'm super honored to be here with you again. Thank you. Big thank you to Andrew and his team, Erin and Amanda, who I love. I love doing this stuff every season. It's really awesome. And thank you to all the sponsors for keeping the content free. Make sure you go and rewatch this over at YouTube, follow the channel, join us on the Facebook group, and maybe at an upcoming CBP Connects event. And the Virginia Brewers Conference, which we just did. If I met you in person recently, it's pretty awesome. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you being here. And if you have follow-up questions, please let me know anytime. All right. Have a good day.